I'm here with comic book writer and artist Jonathan Case. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
What was it like for you starting to write comics and when you started out?
Well, I basically just started doing it for my own purposes. I graduated from college with a theater degree, and I just wanted to tell stories, and I wasn't sure, I'd been doing the acting thing, I'd worked on short films, and just decided that I didn't want to go to New York or LA and try to work my way up some ladder and maybe one day be able to tell the stories I wanted to tell. And I'd always loved drawing, and so writing comics and drawing comics seemed like a way for me to just tell the stories that I wanted to tell in a very immediate way. And because I'm a control freak, I could have control over it completely, and I got to do that with Dear Creature. Thankfully somebody wanted to publish it, but I was still in complete control of it, right down to they said, yeah, here's just the ISBN number, put it where you want, right down to those details. And it doesn't have to be that exact every time, but I like that I get to just have an outlet for pure expression. That's a lot of fun for me. So writing and drawing comics just it happened when I was looking at my skill sets and saying, here's what I have, what can I do, and what would be really enjoyable to do. So that's kind of how it came about for me.
What is your thought process when you begin to write a book?
Usually I take stock of where I'm at in life at the given time and think about what are my interests, what are my challenges, what am I feeling drawn toward, what are the things that excited me when I was a kid. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I'm working on a book that's an all-ages book, and I'm trying to think what were the things that really excited me when I was little, and so I try to ground it in a place that feels real to me, even if the characters are completely fantastic, like an atomic sea creature or whatever. Dear Creature is a very personal book to me, so I try to root it in either things that I've experienced or places that I've been. In the book there's a section of it where it takes place in the hold of a sailboat, and I lived on a sailboat with my family when I was a kid in Mexico, and I spent a lot of time in isolation on that boat, and so I kind of put some of that into the character. So I find ways of bringing my experience to it as best I can.
Dear Creature is a personal favorite of mine, but there are those who might not be familiar with it. Can you give a little summary about the book?
Oh, sure. My elevator pitch is it's about an atomic sea creature in the 60s whose poet soul is at odds with his desire to eat people. And he goes on a little monster-y quest to overcome his compulsions, and it's hard, though, because he has 3 little crabs living on his body and saying, don't worry about the love crab, just eat the delicious people, So he's conflicted. He's got some hurdles to overcome. He's a scaly, pulsating brain kind of monster, so finding love and humanity is going to be a challenge, but it just might work out. So that's kind of the gist.
What was the inspiration for the book?
Well, it actually started out as a play that I did as part of my senior work when I was studying acting in college. And I wanted to do a play that was kind of off the beaten path, not perform in a regular theater space. So we actually performed the play out on the beach, and I built an ocean-proof monster outfit and waited in the ocean while the audience gathered and was hiding behind this guy. And anyway, it was a lot of fun, and the whole thing was in iambic pentameter. So that was kind of the genesis of it. And then I did a little spin-off, just a kind of a short comic is kind of a fun thing to do for somebody that was in the cast, girlfriend at the time. And then I saw that it might have some potential to develop further. And then I started pulling in more of kind of my own story and thinking about, the themes I was interested in really getting into with it, piecing it together.
It really is an original romance story that I have ever seen. What was the process behind that to make that love story really poignant?
That's a good question. I guess I just tried to make sure that my characters felt real to me, that I wasn't creating something that was like, I worked with archetypes and I worked with stereotypes in the book, hopefully in service of the story, but I chose certain characters to be really unique, because it would take a really unique person to fall in love with an atomic sea creature, right? And so I guess I spent some time just making sure that the characters felt real, yeah. But usually I'll get a few images in my head of a scene. Like when I first started working on Dear Creature as a comic, I had this scene of the atomic sea mutant courting an old woman from a tree at a Spanish mission window. Like, that was in my head, and I thought, I wonder what I could do to work towards that scene, and then I kind of constructed it around that. I thought, like, what would their stories be to bring them to that point?
Well, thank you very much for talking with us today, and I hope you have a great time here at the con.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.